Well, hello there, Santa and Mrs. Claus. Welcome back to Gaylord Opryland. Sneaking in a break before the big day?
Just finished checking the list again and thought we could take the weekend off.
I need a break, and he's up for some good old-fashioned fun.
Ho, ho, ho.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Ice tubing, ice skating, and ice featuring the Polar Express. Here we come.
Experience it all on a vacation even Santa would love. Buy tickets and packages at Christmas at GaylordOpryland.com.
This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and/or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
The holidays start here at Kroger with a variety of options to celebrate traditions old and new. You could do a classic herb-roasted turkey or spice it up and make turkey tacos. Serve up a go-to shrimp cocktail or use Simple Truth wild-caught shrimp for your first Cajun risotto. Make creamy mac and cheese or a spinach artichoke fondue from our selection of Murray's cheese. No matter how you shop, Kroger has all the freshest ingredients to embrace all your holiday traditions. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. Then today's episode, I wanted to talk on, I haven't watched the full podcast yet, but I wanted to talk on Jake Paul and Logan Paul going at it because, man, you know, you see these guys like all throughout their lives because I've been following them since the Vine days, and you know, when you see them like together so much and they've supported each other on so many different things, and then you kind of I wouldn't necessarily call it a fallout, but if this podcast that they just recently did with each other is like the beginning to their fallout, I feel like both sides have their reasons, but I feel that the number one reason is that both of these guys are kind of in their own like different routes. And at some point in time, like, you know, you are going to have to, like, split up in things. And so the thing is this. I do want to talk on multiple things, like, surrounding both Jake Paul and Logan Paul. But, yeah, like, the clips that they've been, like, posting around that's been going viral and stuff. Where you know, and it's just, there's a lot. And here's the thing. I'm just speaking on my own, how I feel about the situation, you know, and I personally think that, yeah, it might lead to a situation where these guys, they just kind of, I think if anything's like they're going to like just overall split apart. Jake Paul does his thing, Logan Paul does his thing, but they're not going to be together doing you know, their the Impulsive podcast, or, you know, showing up to each other's events and things, because here's the thing, you know, I'm gonna speak on like my own experience with my sibling, and then just, you know, with other you know, situations that like I heard of with, you know, people and their siblings and stuff. So talking on me and my sister, you know, me and my sister, I would have to say throughout the years of us, you know, growing up, we did have some bumpy moments, you know. I ain't gonna lie on that. We did have some bumpy moments. I would say now that we're on the same page when it comes to just, you know, overall, like, we respect each other. We don't be carrying on like how we were when we were kids, you know. And yeah, we realize like we're getting older. We ain't got time for that. And not overall saying like, you know, Jake Paul and Logan Paul. I just feel that, you know, the lifestyle that they have, yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder, I feel like, for them to, you know, be on the same page, because it's like, yeah, it's like these guys, they got two different careers. You got one following his boxing career. You got Logan Paul where he's following so many different careers at once. So it's like, I feel that with getting back, like, you know, kind of like just kind of, you know, jumping back and forth and things. I feel that with them, you know, that's if I could say if there is any reason why they would, you know, just kind of go their ways, it's, yeah, it's like what I've been saying, you know, they just got their, I feel like I've been repeating that too much, is that, you know, they just got two different careers. So anyways, moving on. So, but I could think of, like, when getting back to me and my sister, I could think back when we were like kids and stuff, where we would like get mad at each other. And that's, you know, overall one of the points that I wanted to make, is that you know, and if they don't split up, if they just, you know, if this is kind of, because I feel that people are going to put out this narrative that, oh, you know, Logan Paul and Jake Paul, like, they're not cool with each other anymore just because of, you know, Logan Paul being cool with KSI, you know, Logan Paul not being able to promote his fight during, you know, or have it where it's like, I don't know, I think it has something to do with like the promotion of this up and coming fight with Logan Paul. But or no, I think that's what it is. He can't promote his drink. He can't promote his prime drink. And yeah, I guess that just has something to do with like Jake Paul's, like, I think he either owns the business that he's Logan Paul is gonna be fighting under. But if not, I don't know. I don't know. Me, I'm like, bro, I'm like, I don't care. I'm still gonna promote it anyways. What, I'm gonna get fined for promoting my business? And I guess, yeah, you know, depending on the fine. But I'm like, it's Logan Paul. I'm like, this man's making millions just by breathing. So that's why I'm like, I wouldn't even trip about it if I was him. I'd still promote it, cover it up, or get like I'll get some duct tape and then just be all like, I'm still gonna promote it. I'm still gonna be drinking on it and stuff during the fight. So, you know, just get some tape and cover it up. But it's like, I'm not going to not support my drink because you don't like it, or you don't like the person that I'm in partnership with. And it's like, the thing is this, I don't know what that conversation, you know, if there was a conversation where Logan Paul, most likely, I feel like that he might have went to his brother about it, or at least brought it up like, hey, you know, let's get into business with each other. And, you know, if that was a conversation, then we obviously know what route that went down. But the thing is this, what what Jake Paul needs to understand is that, yeah, you know, at one point in time, Logan Paul and KSI, they were enemies. They had beef with one another. But I think that, you know, these two, they got older and they realized, and I'm pretty sure Jake Paul is going to be the same situation with him. He's going to, you know, some of the people that he's had issues with, he's going to get to a point in time in his life where that stuff just doesn't matter. You know, and I think with Logan Paul, I mean, like, what, this man's engaged. Most likely he's going to have kids. You know, he's getting older. So it's like this whole, like, you know, just being that petty sibling. And I think both siblings, because I had to say for myself, I've been the petty sibling at times. My sister has been the petty sibling at times. I know people where they've been the petty sibling, and then they have it where their siblings, the petty sibling to them. That's just what siblings do to one another. And I feel that, you know, with Jake Paul, it's like he has this crazy wild lifestyle that he has going on in his life right now. But at the same time, I do feel like that he still kind of has, like, and I think everybody kind of has that, you know, we all kind of have like that kid personality still within us. So he's thinking along the lines like a kid, not trying to be disrespectful towards Jake Paul. But at the same time, I just think that maybe I don't know, I feel like that might be kind of like pushing it a little bit too bit by saying this. But I feel like maybe if he had more in his life, you know, he wouldn't be caring about stuff like that. But it just seems like with Jake Paul, all that's just on his mind right now is boxing. You know, and I think that that's unhealthy. I think it's unhealthy when it's like you have just one thing on your mind and you don't really be focused on anything else. That's why, like, with me, I try to, like, kind of, you know, find, I mean, like, yeah, I had to say I spent a majority of my time, like, you know, being a content creator and things, but I do try to, like, find, like, different things to get into. Like, you know, at one point in time, I remember I was heavily into exercising. You know, like, I'll go outside, jog, freaking walk. I still kind of do the walking stuff, but yeah, I remember at one point in time I was like jogging, doing 5 miles every day. I think that's what I am gonna do at some point. Go out, I'm just trying to find like a good, reliable basketball. Basketballs are expensive, bro. I was seeing the prices for some of them, and I'm like, that is crazy. I'm like, nah, for a basketball to cost that much, I'm like, nah, that is wild. A basketball should not cost. It should not. I think I seen some. They were like $70. I'm like, bro, that better be an official LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry like that. That better be an official like never lose air type basketball and things. But anyways, besides that and stuff. But no, like that is something that I have been thinking about. It's just kind of like, doing everything that I can do with content creating rather than just sitting here kind of like, okay, well, what can I, like, just sitting down thinking, just get straight to it and then be able to like focus on something else. But I'm just, it's one of those things where I'm like, I do personally feel that it gets unhealthy when you just think of one thing all the time. And I feel that with Jake Paul, he probably, it might not be the situation where he's just strictly just thinking on boxing. He might have other things because I don't know what's going on in that man's mind. So yeah, I can't really say that what I'm saying is the truth. I'm just going based off of what I'm observing, so yeah, that's why I'm like, I can't completely say that everything that I'm saying is truthful or it's realistic or facts or any of that stuff. Like, I'm just going, just based off of what I am seeing and stuff. So here's the thing, I guess, like, if I could, and I know people probably ask, like, what advice would you give both Jake Paul and Logan Paul with this kind of like rivalry, sibling rivalry that they got going on right now? I'm like, it's sibling rivalry. What advice could I give them? But besides saying like, I feel like there isn't really any advice that I can give them besides don't let this, really take over your mind to where you feel that you have legitimate beef with this person. Because at the end of the day, I understand that, there's situations in this world where it's like family members haven't really talked to a particular family member because of whatever they've said or done to them and things. But I just feel that the reason, if they do have like any anger towards one another, talking on both Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I think it's it's anger that they need to let go of. Because I feel that we live in a day and age, and I feel like it's always been like that, but I feel like that we live in this world where if something were to happen to one of those guys, I already know for a fact that the other sibling is going to be devastated, fall in a deep depression, most likely never going to hear from them, maybe not never, but it's going to probably be a while. It's definitely going to be a different environment where it's like, if you have it, you already know the fans are going to react to some stuff like that. So imagine how the family is going to react to some stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you got to think of it as like, you can't let stuff like that where it be on some petty stuff where it's like, oh, I can't promote a drink, or you're friends with this person that I don't like, or you're doing this or you're doing that, and whatever the situation is, it's like, you shouldn't let that occupy your mind so much to where you forget the reality that you're living in. And the reality is that okay, let's just throw out some scenarios out there. Jake Paul's in the middle of a boxing match. It's a boxing match that he can't handle. Literally, the person is pulverizing him, puts him in the hospital. I don't know how many times I heard this story before with boxers, but yeah, puts him in the hospital. A few days later, he ends up passing. That would be devastating. That would be sad. So that's why it's like, it's one of those things where it's, if you want to do boxing, okay, just do boxing, but be smart about it. And then getting with Logan Paul, he's doing some wrestling stuff, and that wrestlers then got in the ring and then passed away doing some crazy stunt. But yeah, or even have had it where something else devastating then happened, where it's like they might land poorly on their neck, and then but let's just say he lands way too bad on his neck, snaps his neck, and he ends up dying. I'm saying it's stuff like that where it's like, you already know Jake Paul, it's gonna be devastating. So that's why it's like, it's stuff like that where whatever anger you have towards them, it's like, you're gonna have anger at that initial moment, but I think it's stuff where it's like, what, don't even let it sweat you. Don't let it like occupy your mind too much, because that's something that I'm like, the times where my sibling might have said something to upset me or done something to upset me, I let it go, because I'm like, what, I'm at a point in time in my life, like, fam, in literally 24 hours, I'm going to be turning 27 years old. And I know, like, I'm still in my 20s, I'm still young, and I have my whole life ahead of me, but I'm pretty sure people have said the same thing when they were my age, and then look, they end up having their lives. And I ain't trying to get dark, but at the same time, it's like, people, there's overall, I just think that there's at times where it's like you just got to learn to let stuff go. Where it's like, yeah, things is gonna be said, things is gonna be done. I'm like, fam, I think, and I have to say, with content creating, I feel that a lot of stuff that's been said to me through content creating has been far more crazier than some of the stuff that, you know, I've heard because when I compare those two, I'm like, fam, I think becoming a content creator, it's mentally made me strong. You know, like where people, I've had people like literally go and be mad at me for the color of my skin. I'm like, something that I had no control over. Like, fam, I was born into this world this way. I don't have no control over my skin complexion. But yeah, it's like when you have people get mad at you over stuff like that, it's like, even when I see things like that, I'm like, bro, there's people in this world where, and I'm not saying this about, you know, Jake Paul and Logan Paul, but I'm just saying that there's people in this world where their mindset is just all wrong. Now I feel at the moment right now, you know, if there is any anger between Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I do think that, yeah, you know, let that stuff go. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, when the smoke clears out and then, you know, you guys are kind of just looking around, you two are the only two that you have for one another. Like, you guys is all that you got. You know, yeah, you got everybody else around you, but at the end of the day, it's like you guys are brothers. You know, like, that's something that I think a lot of people need to hear. They need to understand. It's like, that's family, that's blood. And I know there's people out there where they have their ill feelings towards their blood, but at the end of the day, you know, it's like you gotta understand, like, that goes for anybody. It's like, I look at other situations, I look at even if it's like cousin and cousin, sister and sister, brother and brother, sister, you know, brother and sister, whatever the situation is, it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like people, you just, you know, you need to just learn how to let stuff go, because it's pointless. You know, like, even just kind of like getting off topic, and I have to look at the Quavo and Offset situation. You know, I think they're cool now, but at one point in time, it's like they really wasn't. And then, you know, then it's like what brings them together is a death in the family. You know, like that stuff like that, to me, it's like, you know, it's sad that that's what it leads down to, where it's like a death has to happen in order for people to come together. I'm like, nah, man, people should already be together before the death happens. All right, so, but anyways, yeah, hopefully there ain't no bad blood between them two. You know, I do like when I see those guys do a podcast with one another, where it's like, you know, they just kind of like laughing and chopping it up and things, you know. But yeah, if this is the end towards, you know, the Paul brothers, that's just crazy and things. That was one thing that I was thinking, though, because I was like, I know that Logan Paul, he's gonna be getting married at some point. And I think I said this before, I really hope that Jake Paul and KSI, it's like, put them differences aside, stay away from one another, you know, when Logan Paul does decide to get married. But I'm like, fam, I really hope that, you know, Logan Paul's wedding isn't messed up because these guys want to, you know, oh, let's box, let's spar right now. Let's spar at my business partner, or, you know, talking if I'm Jake Paul, let's box at my brother's wedding. Yeah, because that's really gonna slide with your brother and things. Maybe afterwards, you know, when the wedding stuff and all that is over with, and then you guys are just, then yeah, you know, afterwards. But at that initial moment, it's like, yeah, you guys better put that stuff behind you, and, you know, just, you ain't gotta be chilling with one another, but it's like, you know, just, yeah, put that stuff aside, because I really hate to, you know, hear that those guys done messed up Logan Paul's wedding on some dumb stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.